Welcome to episode 118 of the Whatnauts Review Show, where every week we pick a story and we talk about it. This could be a movie, TV show, anime, manga, comic book, audio drama, all kinds of entertainment. We watch it, read it, listen to it, and then we come back here and we talk about it. My name is Melissa Wilkinson, and I am joined, as always, by Kyle Springer.
Hello. Melissa, how are you today?
I'm good. I went to the store.
Yeah.
A rare treat.
Yeah, you mentioned you had some big shopping trip to not Walmart, but like Costco.
Sam's Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Costco of Walmart.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been to one of those in like a decade or more, but I miss them. Like my parents had a membership, and we would go and we'd get the like big New York style slices of pizza that they had.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a fun time.
They're still fun, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Always a treat.
Good stuff. Well, let's see. My weekend has been pretty good. I recorded crossplay yesterday with Ignacio. That was a lot of fun. I'm still trying to kind of catch up on sleep and stuff like that. So I only woke up yesterday to do the podcast, and then I got to sleep in a little bit today, since we are recording a little bit later than normal for the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are. Good weekend so far.
We are. Yeah.
Oh.
I bought a bottle of Pledge Cleaner,
Okay.
and I got to tell you, I'm weirdly excited about the Pledge Cleaner because I want my coffee table to be shiny.
There you go. I was just about to say that I finally finished season 2 of Lucifer. I know we covered Lucifer here on the show a couple weeks back, but I've continued watching it, and I am done with season 2, and that show got better. It's a very, very good show. Highly recommend it. So.
Yeah, we liked it already. It's good to hear that it's on an upward slope in season 2.
Indeed, but we are not here to talk about cleaning supplies or devils posing as police consultants.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about something else, which is Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes.
Always good fun talking about a murder.
I
mean, hey,
which you may need to clean up afterwards.
Which you might need a Pledge Cleaner to clean up afterwards, and then who knows, maybe a devil posing as a police consultant will pick up the case after. You know, who knows?
In this case, it was just a man with a very silly mustache.
Yes, indeed. Murder on the Orient Express. What is this one about, Melissa?
This is about, it's a Kenneth Branagh film, directed by and starring. He's adapting the Agatha Christie novel, the same name, where Belgian detective Hercule Poirot is on a train and somebody is murdered on the train, and everybody in that train car is a suspect.
Yeah. It's I went through an Agatha Christie phase when I was in like middle school and high school. I read I think like 5 or 6 of her books, but this was not one of them. I don't think I read any of the Hercule Poirot books. I read one of the like Miss Marple, I think her name was. I think I read like one of those. I read 10 Little Indians, and then they were none. I think is what it's called. But yeah, like I like a good mystery novel. It's a good like fun weekend read, vacation time read.
Yeah.
It's good fun to just sit down with a mystery.
Yeah, and how we got to this movie is that we recently did a series of Patreon bonus episodes under the Reactor Core where we were watching trailers of the past and talking about them not as necessarily representations of movies, but just as themselves. We're talking about the art of the trailer and how trailers have grown and changed throughout our lifetimes, and trailers that we remember regardless of whether or not we've actually seen that movie. And this was one of the trailers that I brought out. This movie's from 2017, so it's a fairly recent trailer, relatively speaking, considering we were also talking about ones from like 1992. And the trailer I picked out because it was weirdly contemporary. The story's set in, I think, like 1934, and it's fairly accurate to that time period. It's not modernized at all. But we watched the trailer and like they're playing an Imagine Dragons song, which doesn't seem like it would work, but really worked somehow. And the logo for the movie is in like neon light font. There's a lot of odd things in the trailer, and we're curious how many of those were in the film itself. So I pitched you last week 3 of the movies whose trailers we talked about in those bonus episodes, and this is the one we picked.
Indeed. If you guys are interested in checking out our series on movie trailers from different decades, you guys can go support us on Patreon, which is patreon.com/the Whatnauts. And if you support us at the $3 tier or above, that's where you guys can get all of the exclusive content. The third and final installment of that recent series, which was Patreon exclusive stuff for another one of our podcasts, the Reactor Core. So if you look at all of that stuff, you guys can find it on our website as well if you support us on Patreon. But we watched that trailer, and it was a really good trailer. And we were both kind of intrigued of like, they're making some really interesting like visual and artistic choices with this. And it made us want to watch the movie, which is kind of why I picked it, because I wanted to be able to talk about that of like the movie versus the trailer. And stuff like that. So I'm excited to get into it. What did you think of the movie? You hadn't seen this one before, right? This
was
our first time watching it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. I don't think I'd heard from anybody personally who had seen it. And I had the sense that it was not well received, but I ended up having a pretty good time.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. I feel like it's kind of like I think it fits with the like Agatha Christie novels where it's not going to be the next like Harry Potter or the next, best-selling series or stuff like that. I know she is a best-selling author and stuff like that, but it's not on that same level. You know what I mean? It's a book, like I kind of said, like it's a good fun weekend read or something you might pick up on a vacation.
Yeah, like people have read it, they know it, but people aren't fanatical about it.
Good time.
I've never seen anybody cosplaying as Hercule Poirot.
I mean, you never know. There might be someone out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's a good popcorn flick. It's a good little mystery. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Is it spectacular? Maybe not. But it's still good. It's still really fun, and I enjoyed my time.
Yeah. It's very watchable. Like I watched it a couple nights ago, and then last night I had some laundry to put away. I had some housework to do. I wanted to just put something on in the background, and I'm like, why not put it on again? Sure. Just watch the first hour of the movie again.
Yeah, it's watchable. I think it's enough of a mystery that if you haven't seen the film, you can kind of do the mystery thing, like, okay, here are my theories, I think it's this person and stuff like that. But it moves also at a pretty fast pace. It has a very, very good consistent pace to it, that you're always learning something new, or there's always a new clue or some new information. However, I don't necessarily think that it's one that you can maybe solve just by watching it on your own.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those. It's like, oh, it's something I probably wouldn't have been able to guess, but it's still fun to watch it unfold.
Yeah. A lot of the information that Poirot relies on to solve the mystery is related to things that happened off screen that we may or may not have been told about.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think that's kind of my general thoughts on the thing. It was very different from the trailer. I would say it did not have some of the things that we liked in the trailer.
I will say it does still have the blue neon light lettering. I mean, it only appears within the movie in like the title screen and the end credits. It's not appearing on the screen labeling characters like it does in the trailer, like, you know, the missionary, the school marm, the princess, and all of that. That's missing.
Professor and Mary Ann, you know, here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it is still neon blue lettering, and I still don't understand why. I like it, but I'm so curious how that's the creative leap that they went. Like, okay, we've got this high-class European murder mystery set in 1934 or thereabouts. Neon. This feels neon. Let's make the logo neon.
Yeah. So let's get into a bit of a synopsis. But before we do, I also want to mention this is a like star-studded movie that I did not expect, and I honestly did not pick up from the trailer. Like going in there,
it pans past all their faces.
I just didn't pay attention to like who the actors were. I was more looking at the neon that was in the trailer, like labeling all of these characters and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's neat. That's a good choice. And I like totally missed that like Daisy Ridley is in this, Willem Dafoe, Johnny Depp, if you like him or not. But yeah, like there's so many people in this. I'm like, I know these actors. Like, how did I miss this?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in this. It's a great, very strong cast. I liked everyone.
And stuff. So, synopsis, we kind of mentioned there's this famous detective, Hercule Poirot, and he is kind of minding his own business. He's hoping to take a vacation. He's tired of solving mysteries and stuff like that. And right as he's about to go on his vacation, he kind of gets interrupted and intrigued by something, and it causes him to go on this train ride. And while he's on this train ride, there is a murder. Someone who had just recently been like, hey, I kind of need you as my bodyguard. I think some people are after me. He's the one that ends up being murdered.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. So Hercule at first is kind of indifferent to the whole thing, but then very quickly is like, oh, there's more to this than meets the eye. And so he very quickly is like, okay, I need to be in detective mode right now. Shut it down. Like, let's solve this thing. Meanwhile, they are stuck. Their train ride, I think, was going to Istanbul. Is that right? Or were they in Istanbul and leaving?
I don't remember. The movie starts in Jerusalem. No, he goes from Jerusalem to maybe somewhere else. You're right. I think they are going to Istanbul, but they keep calling it just Stanbul, which was not part of the lineage that I knew. Like, They Might Be Giants told me it once was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul. They didn't tell me any middle steps.
So yeah, they're on their way to this other location, but along the way there's an avalanche that stops and derails the train. So they are stuck kind of out in this wilderness. Hercule has kind of shut this one specific train car down because he knows that one of the people here in this train car is a murderer. we need to solve this. We cannot let them leave. We need to figure it out now. So it's kind of like that locked box, single room mystery stuff, which is a good, fun time. I think that's about it, though, for a synopsis without spoiling stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. Let's hop into housekeeping real fast, and then we can get on into spoilers and such. If you guys did not know, which hopefully you were paying attention about just about 10 minutes ago, we have multiple podcasts here at The Whatnauts. You guys can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, or your favorite podcasting platform of choice. Just type in The Whatnauts, and all of our shows will pop up right there. You guys like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. And like I mentioned, all of our exclusive content for all of our podcasts is at the $3 tier, so you guys can go check that stuff out. We mentioned all of that, so I won't mention it again. And a big thank you to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, for helping us out and supporting us for so long, for keeping the mics on.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. We appreciate it. But yeah, that was a quick housekeeping thing. I don't think... I do want to mention that we will be covering Season 2 of Umbrella Academy on the Reactor Core. So be on the lookout for that. We are kind of in a unique position to cover Season 2 because here on the review show, we have covered Season 1 on episode 50. So if you guys are looking to go back and watch Season 1 and Season 2, we have both seasons covered for you. So be on the lookout for our coverage of Season 2 down the road this next week. But yeah, I think that wraps us up for housekeeping. So let's get into... Awesome. Here we are in spoiler territory.
Yep.
Melissa, where did you want to start with this film?
Well, let's start with our protagonist. Okay. I really liked Poirot. When he first shows up, he's very particular. You see him like solving like a little mini case in Jerusalem as like the cold open at the beginning of the movie. And you see him like he's staying at this hotel and he has this local boy run out and get him eggs for breakfast. But the eggs have to be exactly the same size as each other. And like he sent this kid out a couple times to like get different eggs. And he takes a little ruler out and he measures the eggs. And then they're like walking through the streets to get to the scene of this crime or wherever they have like the 3 suspects lined up. And he steps in a pile of horse poop and he groans. And then he steps in it with his other foot because he hates the fact that his feet don't match more than the fact that he hates imbalance. Poop on him now. And so that reminded me right off the bat of Monk.
Okay.
Who had a lot of those same obsessive compulsive tendencies. So for a little while I was like, this is just Monk again. Or like, this is just like Sherlock again. The way he looks at people, like looks them up and down. Like, I know who you are and I know where you came from. But the more time we spend with him, like, oh, you are... more of a unique character than it looked like you were going to be at the beginning of the movie. Maybe this isn't something, you know, when you see something that a lot of culture has pulled from, you go back and see the original thing for the first time and you're kind of underwhelmed because you've seen it imitated or so many times.
Improved on too.
Yeah. That's the case I thought I was in for, but then the more time we spend with him, he charmed me. I like what he says, that he's in his like, I don't know, 60s, I guess. He's a slightly older man. And he's like, by this time in my life, I have learned what I like and what I don't like. And what I like, I adore absolutely. And what I don't like, I cannot stand it. And he's reading Charles Dickens. That's what he wanted to do on this vacation, was just sit around and read. He's reading A Tale of Two Cities and he's just cackling. He's having a grand old time, like, oh Charlie, look what you're up to. But then something bad will happen and he'll just like groan at it. Like, he reminds me of like my dad.
That's great.
He can be kind of a curmudgeon, but when he's excited about something, he's really excited about it. It's cute.
Jack is here with us in the chat. Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hi.
Yeah, I like he is still like you can still kind of group him into the like eccentric detectives category, but he's ultimately like I think at the end of the day he's less eccentric than some of them. He's not like a high functioning sociopath type of thing. He's not some like he's not. Yeah, he's not Sherlock in that sense. He but like you said, he is very particular. He knows what he likes, what he does not like, and he's just gotten into this routine, and he's so unapologetically himself that to a lot of people who aren't that way, he can seem like, what is up with this guy? Like he seems a little bit strange, right? So, but he was good. I enjoyed his character a lot. Man, we have to talk about that mustache, though.
I love it. I love that he sleeps in this weird harness thing that goes around his head. I don't know. It looks like it just protects his mustache. It's not like orthodontia or something. It's just like this little leather strip that like clamps around his face. It's
Hannibal would wear, but it's for his mustache, and it's a do-rag for his mustache.
Right. I've never seen a thing like it. I don't know if it's real.
I was like, I've never seen one of these things. Can I buy this on Amazon? Like, actually, I'm gonna see if I can look that up on Amazon right now.
Yeah, look up mustache protector.
Mustache protector?
I guess.
It's coming up in the search results. Mogard.
You know, like how ladies will, or you sleep with like a bonnet. Did you find it?
Not exactly, but I found the Mogard mustache guard drink attachment. I guess this is to keep your mustache from getting wet when you drink things.
Okay, gotta keep it dry.
I don't know. No, wait. No. This. Oh, I guess it is. But instead of fitting on your mustache, it fits on the like lid of your pint glass. So when you put the cup up to your mouth, that thing hits your mustache, and it protects it. This is wild. Comes in 7 colors: black, blue USA, kiss me green, red, white, and white USA.
But nothing for the great country of Belgium, from which Poirot hails.
No, not at all. Weird.
Oh, we should have gone to Amazon.eu.
Right. Well, at least there's something similar out there you can get.
Yeah. I love the mustache. I like that it has like these 2 wings on the side of it. Like it's not just like a normal curly Q handlebar mustache. It has
he had like a second mustache.
Like wings.
He had like an under mustache. His mustache had a mustache.
Exactly, that's what it is. And then he also has a very neat little soul patch too.
Yeah.
Which I gotta say completes the ensemble. I don't know if it'd be the same look without that. I liked to look at him.
Alyssa thinks Hercule was a looker.
Kenneth Branagh, especially, like, he works this mustache. The mustache does not overpower him, which could be easy to do. He stands up with the mustache on. He just has like a really interesting, charismatic, expressive face. He's got that wild mustache on it. He's very intense. He was just a good facial performance, I guess. He's nice to look at.
Yeah, he was good. Good. Besides Hercule, did any of the characters stand out to you as ones that you liked or did not like?
I liked the horny train director a lot.
Okay, yeah.
And out of the actual murder suspects, oh, I gotta give it to Penelope Cruz as the missionary who can punch people.
She was good. She was fun. I think the one time that I like rolled my eyes and was just like, oh my God, this is ridiculous, is before they get on the train and they see the dancer guy, like the broody dancer.
Yes.
And he gets it in a bar fight, and he does this like leaping kick that is just like the most perfect dancer kick, and it was just like, this is so dumb, this is ridiculous, no one kicks like that, like no one gets in a fight like that.
Well, we haven't, but he's a dancer and a count. I've never met a count. If you're a count, your whole life must be just that extra.
I mean, the only count that I know is like Count Chocula, but
oh. Well, I was at the store today. I saw a multi-pack of Count Chocula with his pals, Booberry and Frankenberry. So, Kyle, I believe Halloween is officially started.
Nice, good stuff. Yeah, I liked him in just like how dramatic he was. He was like, dude, you have no reason to be this moody. Like,
well, I mean, you're planning a murder. That would make me brood as well.
Yeah. But yeah. So I liked them. I really liked Daisy Ridley's character. I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen her outside of Star Wars. So it's nice to see her in a different range.
Galactic War. Yeah, I liked her. She was very charming. Oddly, I liked Willem Dafoe's character. I like Willem Dafoe. I know he's a good actor. Most of the time, I just can't get into his characters and stuff. I'm just like, okay, he's there. But I oddly kind of liked his character. That it was all like a fake thing.
Yeah, and he's got these big, like, bug-eyed glasses. His hair's like blonde. He's really interesting looking. Yeah, and then you find out that the person you thought he was, he's like, oh no, I'm a Pinkerton detective. Like, this is all a front.
Which I think even
so
him
he does two
being
different
a Pinkerton
voices.
Was also a fake thing too.
Yeah, and then I think it's like he's just a regular cop. He's not like a high-end detective.
Yeah. But still, like, because he was the only one that was like putting up like a character. Like he, like everyone else were themselves, but maybe just secretive about who they were. Whereas he was like, I'm gonna invent a new character, and I'm just gonna be like, this is based off of this like butcher that I knew when I grew up, and you know, it's like, huh, okay, A for effort here.
Right, he's going all in on this. He invented a separate crime persona that nobody else did.
Yeah. I mean, hey, what you gotta do, right?
Unless it was also part of McQueen's persona to be like, I don't trust that Marquez guy.
Jack says,
like, this entire...
Jack says, Willem the foe.
Willem the foe.
Great. Good stuff, Jack.
Always. Yeah, it's a train car full of people. Poirot's the only one there because the conductor's in on it too. The director guy, his friend with like the yellow striped scarf who just wants to bone around. He's like Poirot's assistant through the investigation because he was like sleeping in a different car. He's the only person not on that car. So, and Poirot is the only person in that car that's not part of this murder plot. So you see all these little vignettes between these various people that you find out all did the murder together. It's like, was this all like for Poirot's benefit to try and were you playing out all these scenes for him for like believability? Like the part where Willem Dafoe goes up to the conductor and he's like, I don't want to sit next to Leslie Odom Jr.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys all planned a murder together. I thought you were like kind of pals. Like,
that's the thing. He was not supposed to be on the train. And so the fact that Hercule was on the train, I think they're all kind of being like, oh shit, act normal, act like what would do.
Right.
You know.
We have to make up character things. I don't trust the Spanish guy. That's my character trait.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they had some stuff rehearsed for in case like something went wrong, in case someone else was put on the train to like confuse them and throw them off the scent.
Yeah.
That. So I guess to back up a bit, that's what happened. It wasn't one person that killed Johnny Depp. We all did, which is probably what we should do to his career. But, you know, that's another story. But yeah, they all murdered Johnny Depp's character, who was this like sleazeball business guy who was not very good at business and crossed a lot of people. So
yeah, and I think I said in this Patreon bonus episode where we talked about the trailer, that I've never learned how this. I know that this is one of the big mysteries of literature and culture, but I never learned exactly how the ending went. I realized like halfway through the movie, like, oh, I think I know what this might be. I know that whoops, everybody did it is a twist to some story, and it might be this
interesting,
one.
yeah.
Like, oh, it is this one. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, that makes sense, because there are like 2 or 3 moments in the film where like he's certain like it was this person. It's like, well, you're not wrong, but you're wrong,
right?
Kind of, yeah, you know. And so then he finds out something new, and then he's like, huh, well, no, now it was this person. This person did the thing. That doesn't make sense, because the other one makes sense. And so yeah, I can see how eventually you could get to, well, everyone killed them and stuff like that. But it still ended up kind of playing out of the like, well, I wouldn't have guessed that. Like, you didn't give me enough information, you know?
Yeah, because it turns out, okay, so Mr. Ratchet is Johnny Depp's character's name. And then turns out he's actually a different man named Cassetti, and Ratchet is a new pseudonym. And Cassetti kidnapped a little girl from this family. And then
this was like years the ransom or so was paid before the movie took place. This is stuff you don't see on camera except in flashbacks.
Yeah. Like, he kidnapped the girl, the ransom was paid, but he still killed her anyway. The mom was pregnant, had a nervous breakdown about it. Her and the baby died, and then the dad committed suicide. Like, just awful, bad situation. And so you find out that everybody was somehow connected to this case. It's like, oh, that's the grandmother and the aunt and the godmother and like the husband's best friend, everyone down to I think Josh Gad's character or Willem Dafoe's character. No, Josh Gad's character, right, his dad Josh was Gad.
Like, I knew I was like, I recognize him somewhere. Mulch Diggums. Okay.
Right.
Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, we should say that we just watched Kenneth Branagh direct the Artemis Fowl movie earlier this summer, which he carried over. Here's Josh Gad and Judi Dench again.
Oh man, yeah. Interesting, because I liked this film. Artemis Fowl was not a great movie.
It's so madcap and harried and stressful.
Oh man, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like I was very pleasantly surprised that this movie had a more even sense of pacing and tone, because Artemis Fowl, well, I appreciate some things it did to adapt the book, and there were parts that I thought were cool. It's a very jumpy movie.
So I do have to say, yeah, so Artemis Fowl was directed by Kenneth Branagh. I thought the way Artemis Fowl was filmed and stuff was fine. I think it was directed
it looks
fine,
good.
so that was fine. I guess what I don't know is who wrote the screenplay to Artemis Fowl and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Because the screenplay for Murder on the Orient Express is apparently written by Michael Green, who has written things like Logan, which was amazing. Blade Runner 2049, which was amazing. As well as Alien Covenant, which I have not seen.
Yeah, can't speak to that one.
Yeah. So it might have just been in the screenplay, and Kenneth Branagh got stuck with not so great screenplay and had to work with that. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, was this not Kenneth Branagh's like directorial debut?
Oh, absolutely not, Kyle.
Where did I hear that?
No, he's been direct.
I don't know. I felt like I saw that somewhere.
No, he let's see. He directed that live action Cinderella from a couple years ago, which I've heard is like among the better ones of these live action Disney animation adaptations. Okay. I think that one's the most well regarded out of those.
I'm dead wrong then.
He directed a version of Much Ado About Nothing in the 90s, starring him, Emma Thompson. I've told you about this one. This is the one where Denzel Washington and Keanu Reeves play half-brothers.
Okay, yeah, you've mentioned that before.
And I think he's directed a couple other like Shakespeare adaptations and like period films and things like that.
Interesting. Okay.
And he is going to direct he's directing a sequel to this. He's going to direct Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile.
Which is not a book that I have read. But yeah, they do kind of set that up at the end of this film. Once he finally gets to his destination and is off the train, he's immediately picked up by someone who's like, "You're needed in Egypt. There's been a murder." And
sorry, you can't go home.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so what else? Let's so I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about the differences between the movie trailer and the actual film here. So for people who have not seen our Patreon exclusive thing, for this trailer specifically, like we kind of mentioned, there is a scene in the movie where Hercule is walking down the middle of the train car. And he's looking back and forth to each of the characters, but it's in first person. So the camera is looking at all of these different characters. And in the trailer, as each character is kind of looked at, in these like bright blue neon lights, it says each character's name, or their like
well, not their name, but like their
ish.
Yeah, the doctor, the lawyer, etc.
Yeah. Which I really, really liked. I thought that was a very interesting choice. I know you liked that as well. Just like, oh, this is kind of cool. And we mentioned that really only happens as like the opening and end credits. Like it's not in the movie itself. And to be honest, I'm kind of disappointed.
I think it is a cool trick, but I think it's a trick that we've seen so many other times.
It would be more like all of Sherlock when we see like this
exactly,
stuff on the screen. But with Sherlock, it's more like very, very detailed information and algorithms and all sorts of equations and stuff like that. Whereas this, it's just like, this is who the character is. This is their occupation. Like I like the more like basic info just to kind of clue you
like
in on stuff to make you feel smart, even though maybe you really aren't smart, right? You know?
Yeah. So you would have liked something like in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where everybody just has like a name and a byline.
Yeah. Something like that. Also, I see Jack in the chat mentioned that he also directed the first Thor movie from the MCU.
Oh my God! How did I forget about Thor? How did we both forget about Thor?
I don't know. Shame on us. But yeah. But yeah. So I think I would have liked that if not just that one scene. Like I think that one scene in particular would have been a nice touch when he is like analyzing them all. If it could have been in one more scene besides that, it would have been nice to kind of not be this like one-off thing. But I just like that information that is given to us that way. Makes me feel like a detective.
No, I understand. I really like how it's used in the trailer, but I think to have that across an entire film, especially after that's been a visual trope in various other things. Other people have used this visual tool of putting like names and roles and labels and info up on the screen. I feel like you'd have to completely go for it, like integrate it everywhere, really stylize it, really put that to work for the movie. Like it would be so much extra effort and retooling to make that an element. Like, because to have it in there just sort of plain simple. I don't know, like I feel like we've progressed past this is this person's name and title, like this little personal chyron.
I'll give you that. I think what stands out to me is also how stylized it is. Like I've seen when Sherlock was really popular, you did start to see that gimmick pop up a lot more, a lot faster. It was on, I think, like the first episode or two of CW's The Flash. Like they did that whole thing. But yeah, like it was very similar like style. It's the same thing where he's looking at equations and, you know, there's all this information that you're not going to necessarily understand, but it's a visual representation of like, this is all the craziness that this character is thinking of. Whereas this is a lot more simple information. It is something you can understand. I think it is something to help you understand who the characters are. But then it was it was so different stylistically too, where it is this bright blue neon, which does not necessarily fit with the like 1930s aesthetic that they have there. And so it's this weird contrast that I really, really liked. And it was like, oh, like, this makes it stand out. This makes it separate from Sherlock, from CSI, or whoever else has used it. I'm not sure if KSI has done that, but still. So, I don't know, but I liked that. And that shot we're talking about from the trailer that is his first person walking down the aisle of the train car. You pass by all the major characters. They all react to the news of this murder. And then somebody's like, well, what are we going to do about it? Like, who are you taking charge of this? And he turns around. And this is the first time in the trailer, the first time you see him. This would be wild. This was if you took 40 minutes to see his face in the movie. Honestly, that'd be kind of a reveal. Like, holy moly, it's Hercule Poirot.
We've just seen a back of a head for 40 minutes.
Yes, it's a wild, like, two-winged mustache.
In the trailer, this is the first time he turns around and he says, I am Hercule Poirot. I am the world's greatest detective, and I am here to solve the case.
No, I'm Batman. I'm the
all of that's
greatest
still
detective.
In... Yeah, me, Sherlock Holmes, Batman... different Sherlock Holmes, a third Sherlock Holmes, Basil of Baker Street, the mouse one that they couldn't legally call Sherlock Holmes. That's all still in the movie, and it works in the movie. I liked it. I don't feel like that scene was robbed of anything from having seen it in the trailer already a couple times.
It was still a fantastic scene, and I liked the tension that was in there of him just slowly walking from one end of the car to the next, looking at all of these suspects, and him just being like, it's one of you, and it's good,
or
it's
all
good.
of you.
Yeah,
it's everyone but me and my horny friend. And the dogs, I guess. I don't think that Judi Dench's dogs played a part in the murder.
That's the name of my new band, Me and My Horny Friend.
I liked how this movie was shot. It's not super stylized, but he does some interesting things. There's some scenes in like the main dining car of the train where you see the characters gather as a group, that it's got this like beveled cut glass on some of the doorways, and the characters will be shot like through that beveled glass. So they're like fractured and refracted, and like you're seeing like 3 Daisy Ridleys.
Yeah.
I think that works. And I think that he uses that right after the I am Hercule Poirot, I'm here to solve the mystery, where it's like, which one of you is the culprit? Because it's got to be one of you. Like, you see everybody multiple times. Like, there's different sides to these people. Daisy Ridley could be the governess who, like, helps kids learn geography. And she could have stabbed this guy 12 times. We don't know. Yeah. This is what he's here to find out.
Clean family fun.
And there's 2 scenes, I think, where they're investigating the body. And then I think after the body's been taken... No, the body's still there. There's 2 scenes of, like, pure body and scene of the crime investigation. Like, he's not really talking to any of the suspects. It's not an interview. Mm-hmm. It's like more forensic. It's more factual. And these are shot like from above, like a bird's eye view.
Down, yeah.
And that also, I think, really worked because it makes it feel like a living crime scene diagram to see these things from the top down objectively, because this is when you're not talking to somebody. You're looking at evidence.
Right.
There's Leslie Odom Jr. reporting back on the body as a doctor saying, well, he was stabbed seemingly a bunch of random times. Like, whoever the culprit was just closed his eyes and stabbed at random. Yeah, then Hercule looks at the crime scene. He's like, okay, he had a gun here, but he didn't use it. Here's all the evidence we have. It looked like he was burning a note in his lantern. I liked how the cinematography reflected the various conditions that the investigation was undergoing at that time.
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of this movie is just characters talking to one another, since they are kind of trapped in this one car. They can go outside if they really need to, but for purposes of the investigation, he's been like, okay, stay on the train unless I tell you that you can, go out and do something. But yeah, like there's not much action to the film. It is a lot of interviews or one-on-one character interactions and stuff like that, which is another interesting thing to note based off of the trailer because of their song choice. I think like the Imagine Dragons, like that song. I'm not sure what one that is.
It's called Believer, and I couldn't tell you the other words he's singing besides Believer.
Murder on the Orient Express, but replace Hercule with Shrek. There you go.
Replace Horny Man with Donkey, and we've got a picture.
No, so I like that song choice in the trailer made me feel like, not that there would necessarily be more like action scenes as you would think when I say action scenes, but just like a certain level of intensity and like people being held at gunpoint or stuff like that, or someone like having a panic attack. Like I felt like there was going to be more of that, and we really didn't get that. Not that there wasn't tension, because there absolutely was. There were some really good tense moments. And but yeah, like I think the most like action oriented moment was when he's talking to Daisy Ridley's character, and he's accusing her of murdering this guy, and she's like, "You're right, it was me," and you're like, okay, mystery solved. We still have like half an hour of this film left. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then that's when Leslie Odom Jr.'s character comes in. He's like, no, I'm the one that did this thing, and he has a gun. He shoots. Like, that is like the most like action-oriented scene that we get, because that ends with them like falling out of the train almost on because they have the like train car door open, and they fall out on to the tracks at some point. Like, that is the like only like action scene that we get. But this song made me feel like we'd get more of that, and we didn't.
Yeah,
and again,
the
I'm
song
kind of
is
disappointed, but I'm not at the same time. Like, it's still like we got the tension that I needed and wanted. But I was just expecting a little bit more elevated tension. That makes sense?
Yeah. The song's very rhythmic, very intense, like da 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 da, and that's like playing and like drumming at you while he like paces the train and looks at all the culprits. Yeah, I would say that the movie doesn't match that level of tension, but I think about what I said earlier, and that it's like, yeah, I'll put this on while I do laundry.
Yeah. True.
It's a movie where it's just consistently like,
Okay.
It's inquisitive more than it is like fearful and brooding and intense. I think part of that also has to come from the crime itself. All of these people had a revenge mission against one man. Once that man is dead, they've no reason to kill anybody else. They've done it. The worst thing has already happened. And watching the movie, like, when you don't have that figured out yet, you don't know if somebody would kill to hide their secrets.
Yeah.
But it turns out that this is a group of people that wouldn't. Yeah, they're not going to take out Poirot. They don't want to. Like, they would rather, like, Michelle Pfeiffer's like, yeah, take me in, or I'll kill myself. Like, nobody else is going down for this. My life's basically over already. So I think the conceit of the crime itself removes a certain level of tension. It's about solving a retroactive puzzle and not avoiding a problem yet to come.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, like I still really enjoyed it. Like, I don't think because we liked the trailer and the certain aspects in that, and we didn't get them in here, that it was a bad film or stuff like that. I still really enjoyed what we got, and I thought they did a great job. And yeah, I would be up for watching another one of these. I would be looking forward to a sequel, which is supposedly coming out in October of this year, but I don't know with coronavirus if that's happening or not. I literally haven't heard anything that there was gonna be a sequel with this, so I don't.
Yeah, I don't know what level it is at.
Who knows?
How much was ever done?
But yeah, I don't know if I really have much else. Oh, there actually is something I do want to talk about. The kind of not final scene, but the scene where he gathers everyone at that big table at the end, and he's kind of solving the mystery and stuff like that. I really want to talk about that scene, because
I want to talk about how it's staged.
I kind of do too.
I just want to stop. I want to stop you briefly and say, like, it's not like he's gathered everyone. The train's being repaired.
Sure, yeah.
Like, during this avalanche, like, the front part of the train where the engine is, it kind of like tilted off. And so, like, that's being repaired. Like, there's workmen there. They're like setting it back up, right? Getting the train in working condition. And they're like, we don't want passengers on the train while this is happening. We set up some tables for you guys. Go sit in like the shade of this tunnel while we write the train up. So they're all naturally collected there. But the way it's staged, it's like they laid out like a series of tables, and they're all sitting at the table, all on one side in a line, facing the train, facing Poirot. It's kind of preposterous that they would have naturally gathered in that exact blocking, but visually it's very impactful.
Well, it's very impactful because it reminded me a lot of The Last Supper.
anytime everybody's sitting on one side of a table. That's all you can think of.
Indeed. Which I'm trying to rack my brain of like connections between like the Last Supper and this scene, and to be honest, I don't know if there really is any. Like, not one of them is a savior figure, not one of them is the like the one I dip my hand in the salsa with. They're the one, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's not any bread rolls that match up with musical notes.
Right? Yeah, no. It's kind of this odd blocking, where they all just decide to sit facing the same way, and then he walks up and is like, "Oh, well, now that I have you here."
Know what? You know what else would be blocked like that is like a council of some kind.
Sure, yeah.
Or like like some sort of a judiciary body. Yeah. They're all sitting up there. So it is very much like him versus everybody. Because you think about, like, he's kind of got them cornered, but also there's like, what, 12 of them? And then one Poirot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting scene. And it's not even that, like, he's sitting down at the table, but he's standing up opposite them and, like, 10 feet
Maybe
back.
The workmen just didn't bring enough chairs to set up for, like, all of the train passengers.
Right? Yeah. It's a strange scene, but yeah, that is the scene where he kind of reveals the mystery of, like, hey, this wasn't one person. This was all of you. I figured it out now. So then, I guess that leads us to the next thing, which brings up the question of, like, well, what do you do when 12 people murdered one person? So I'm sure by time the, like, third or fourth person was there, he was already dead. So, but like. Their whole conundrum is then, what do you do? We can't arrest you all. Like, well, yeah, you can. Like, I don't understand what
maybe
the
not, like,
problem is here.
Maybe not practically. Maybe they don't have 12 pairs of handcuffs on them when he gets to the train
the
station.
Workers are right there. He can leave a message with the workers to be like, hey, when you go back, alert the police that we need 12 pairs of handcuffs because all 12 of these people, or however many it is, they all murdered one person. We need to arrest them all. Like, he has the opportunity to, like, send that message ahead, and they're just like, well, I guess we can't arrest you all, so I guess you're all free to go, because, I mean, technically he was also a murderer and you guys got justice, so I'm fine.
No, but it's more of a conundrum for him, because he does want
it is the whole imbalance
somebody
thing.
to pay. Yeah, he wanted somebody to pay for it. Like, there was a murder. There should be a culprit. There should be somebody who goes through, the process of the law and of whatever punishment is deemed necessary. But he does think about it, and he looks at how devastating this crime was, that it pulled in all of these disparate people, from, like, immediate family members to people with more distant connections. Like, I think Willem Dafoe had a crush on the maid who was a potential suspect and was so stressed out by being a potential suspect that she killed herself. Like, there's all of these tendrils stretching out from this one crime that affected all of these people. And Poirot calculates it, and he's like, I think we're good. I think you guys have set the scales right. If I brought any of you in, it's worse than what the situation deserves. And you can tell that the people, the criminals, are kind of thinking about that. Like, some of them are like, yeah, I killed him and I do it again. But when I went back and watched some of the movie again, when the train first hits that avalanche and it stops, Penelope Cruz's character is like, well, it's not us to decide whether or not we arrive safely. It's in God's hands. God's the one who
Sure, yeah.
decides if we arrive safely or if we fall. Because the train's also like on top of a bridge. And, the bridge is not rickety. It does not seem like an immediate danger that they'll fall off the bridge. But the distant possibility is still there. So this is why she makes this comment. And you look at it after finding out she helped murder this guy. And it's like, oh, this is already on her conscience. She's like, well, we killed the man. If we die here in an avalanche, okay, God has decided we deserve that, and that's fine.
We got what we wanted to get. Our work here is done.
Like it is up to another body to judge us. We don't really have the right to call ourselves correct in this situation. If an outside force says you don't get off scot-free, we just have to live with those consequences.
Sure. Yeah. It was good. I don't know if I have much more to say on this one. You have something else?
Something that kind of bugged me, and this might have just been because I wasn't paying close enough attention or something. I would have liked more detail on how like everybody knows it was Cassetti, but Cassetti was not punished initially. Like, I don't know how everybody's like, oh, it was Cassetti. It was definitely Cassetti. We know his name and his face, and he got a second name, and we know that name too. Like, why everybody knows this, but still, like, he was not brought to trial or anything. How did he escape the first time, but then you still are like, that's the guy. That's definitely the guy.
I think ultimately what happened is that one of them tracked them down and was like, oh, Cassetti has now changed his name to Mr. Ratchet. Here he is. I want to murder him. I don't necessarily know how to do that or all of that stuff, so let me recruit the other people that he hurt. And so that's, I think, when they formed the group and was like, okay, here's the deal. We found him. This is the guy.
Yeah. How'd you all find each other? Like, I wanted like 10 more minutes on the entire background of this case. Like, how he got away, who was figuring this stuff out, how all of these people found each other.
Because a lot of them contact the guy that had a crush on the maid that one time when they were in the like, it was just like, how do you get to that point where you're like, Willem Dafoe, that's who we need to contact. Willem Dafoe. Funny. But yeah. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, on one hand, I like detective stories where I feel like I can figure out the mystery. Right?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there's also a certain spectacle to watching ones that there is no way in hell that I will ever figure this out. Just because they don't tell you the information, and it's just this like wild. But then he was related to this person, and you didn't know because we never told you. And it's just like, how am I ever supposed to guess that? And it's just like this wild spectacle of watching that. And I kind of like those mysteries too.
Yeah.
Like, in its own way. And I think this was one of those for the most part. There is, I think you can maybe come to the conclusion that they all did it. Maybe, if you're really good. But yeah, all of the stuff about like Cassetti and him murdering the other child, and it's just like, what's gonna know that stuff? Like, they almost needed to do like another movie before this one. Like
right, there's so much that's told to us in like backstory and flashback.
Yeah, which is well, I guess he was. Well, no, he was not involved because he was only messaged after. I was gonna say like Hercule is not really involved in that one, but.
Yeah, like the husband wrote him a letter afterwards saying, "So a crime happened to
Wouldn't
us.
That be
Can you
wild,
do
though,
anything?"
if like they just set up this like mystery detective movie, or not even detective, but like crime movie, and they just bill it as completely normal, and then at the end of the film, the setup for the sequel is we're contacting Hercule Poirot, and it's like, oh my god, it's a Hercule Poirot movie.
Okay, so be on edge for any future like period mysteries that you see
Right.
happening, because you might just walk in at the end like, somebody sent me a letter. I'm here. Do you have any tiny cakes?
Right, yeah, exactly. Good stuff. Final thoughts.
I like they said, I had a good time. I don't know how. I respect the story. It's neat to watch it all play out. How much do you think this twist still holds up today? Because I was watching it thinking the movie, the mystery of the whole thing starts with anybody could be a suspect. You're all a suspect. And it ends with, yes, anybody could have done it, and they did all do it. Like, it's surprising, but it's not such an undermining of the original premise. Like, oh, I'm surprised, but I was not shocked.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, was I supposed to be shocked? Like you said, this is a movie that's sort of like, curious.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like right in the middle there. Like, it's not such a shocking reveal that you're like, oh my God, we need to like let everyone know, watch this movie, right? It was just like, oh, okay, they all did it. Interesting.
Right. If somebody had been a ghost the whole time, then it would be a different film.
Right. Yeah, like I think we keep saying it was good. We had fun. We enjoyed it. We liked it a lot. Again, maybe not spectacular, but it's still like it's a star-studded cast. It moves along very quickly. Like it's
never boring.
Good film. Well worth your time.
Pretty to look at. Yeah, like the train set is gorgeous. The costumes are gorgeous. The landscape they're in is gorgeous. It's shot very interesting. Lots to see. Oh, another thing I want to mention, the song they play over the end credits, I don't know if it's an original song or if that's a standard of the time, but they have Michelle Pfeiffer sing it, and her character is an actress in the story. Yeah.
Okay. Recommendations. Melissa, if people liked this, what else would you recommend?
Definitely the BBC Sherlock, which we watched earlier this year. Clue.
Clue is a good one.
I'm always a fan of Clue. Yeah. And this did make me, I have not seen the show in like 15 years, but it kind of made me want to go back and watch an episode of Monk, see how Monk holds up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Rear Window, I think would be a recommendation of mine. I think Alfred Hitchcock did a great job. I mean, it's a classic film, but like I think that level of mystery, I think this is kind of on par maybe with that. The twist or like the reveal in Rear Window, I think is a lot better than this one, or like the tension that is there. But yeah, it's a good mystery story. What else would I say? If you are a fan of anime, go watch some Case Closed, some Detective Conan. Because there are a lot of good mysteries and stuff like that, and a lot of them are the like, well, this is ridiculous. I never would have figured this out, but it's so amusing and it's so entertaining to watch, and it has like a whole weird premise where this guy who is like amateur detective gets turned back into a kid, and so he's a kid but he's still like this superstar detective, but no one takes him seriously, so he has to like use a tranquilizer gun on his it's like his uncle or his father or something, I forget, but he like knocks him out with this trank gun, and then will like hide and be like, it is me, the great detective, you know. And so it's meant to be like the one dude solving it, not this little small child, and it's fantastic. It's good stuff.
I would also recommend the Professor Layton games, the only video games I have ever played. I want Professor Layton style illustrations of this entire cast.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. That would be fun. Yeah, good. that's some good recommendations there. I'm trying to think if I have anything else. Good old mystery murder. No, that's about it. I think for recommendations. But it is also my turn to do the pitches for this next week.
Yes.
I have an anime, a comic book,
Uh-huh.
and a manga.
Okay.
And they are all very different. There is no theme here.
Oh. Okie
The
doke.
first one is in anime called Spice and Wolf. This, I believe, is on Hulu, I think. It was on one of them, like Hulu or Netflix or something. But it says, Lawrence, a traveling merchant, finds a nude girl with ears and a tail of a wolf asleep in his cart. Her name is Hollow, a harvest goddess with an untamed beast lurking inside. Armed with his street smarts and her animal instincts, a simple peddler and a forgotten deity journey through the countryside while reaping the riches of happiness and exposing the bankruptcy which dwells in the human heart.
Okay.
An interesting one. I've seen this one for a long time. Not really my first pick, but hey, it's good to get out of your comfort zone every now and then, you know? But I also know that people seem to like this one. Here on Crunchyroll, it has 28 5-star reviews and 1 4-star review. And that's it. All good reviews there. Pitch number 2, Superman Rebirth. This is Deluxe Edition Book 1, so it's technically volumes 1 and 2 combined. But this is available on Comixology Unlimited. And like I said, it collects issues 1 through 13, as well as the Superman Rebirth one-shot. But this is Superman Rebirth. Let's see, it says, rocketed from his dying homeworld as an infant, he became his adopted planet's greatest champion. Then he and his family...
I know who Superman is.
Then he and his family, his wife, Lois Lane, and their son, Jonathan Kent, narrowly escaped the destruction of their entire universe. They emerged on a new Earth where a younger, brasher breed of superheroes held sway. And when the valiant young Superman of this strangely familiar reality fell in the line of duty, the original Man of Steel stepped out of the shadows to take his place.
Okay.
Now, in addition to battling threats from around the world and across the universe, Superman must fight to earn the trust of his newly adopted planet's other protectors, as well as his curious small-town neighbors. Most of all, he must teach young Jonathan how to harness his ever-increasing abilities and wield them in the service of truth and justice. As a child of two worlds, this grandson of Krypton's potential is rivaled only by the dangers he will face. So,
okay.
there you go. That's pitch number 2.
I like how the story has to remind you who Superman is. That he's from a planet.
Right?
Crossed out a farm, now Earth hero.
It's like, take the Superman you know. His planet got destroyed, so now he's on another Earth. And he was like, well, they already have a Superman, so I guess I don't need to be Superman. But then that Superman dies, and so he's just like, ah, shit. Well, I guess I need to be Superman.
This is when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
It's like, oh, this looks like a job for me. Damn it. So yeah, that is Superman Rebirth.
Mm.
I've read a number of the Rebirth comics. They have all been fantastic. I did not read any of the Superman Rebirth stuff. I'm currently reading a bunch of the Superman stuff that is coming out now. But this was from back in like 2016 when they did all of the Rebirth initiative stuff, which I will probably have to explain a tiny bit of the continuity with that. But I think at least for the character of Superman, this gives you a good starting point of what you need to know here for this story. Pitch number 3, Nijigahara Holograph. This is a manga. I've read this once before, but I wasn't paying attention when I read this, and so I don't remember a thing.
Okay.
But according to the thing here on Comixology Unlimited, it says, even as butterflies ominously proliferate in town, the rumor of a mysterious creature lurking in the tunnel behind the school spreads among the children. When the body of Ari Kimura's mother is found by this tunnel's entrance next to apparently human traces, the legend seems to be confirmed. Is the world coming to an end in order, or is the end of the world coming? I cannot read at all. In order to appease the wrath of the beast, the children decide to offer it a sacrifice. The unfortunate Ari, whom they believe to be the cause of the curse. She is shoved into a well that leads to the Nijigahara tunnel, an act that in turn pushes Komatsuzaki, the budding thug who has carried a torch for Ari for a while already, entirely over the edge. But this is only the beginning of the complex, challenging, obliquely told Nijigahara Holograph, which takes place in 2 separate timelines and involves suicide, a stalker, a teacher who's heavily bandaged taste remains a mystery, and many more.
Mommy teacher.
Brothers, sisters, parents, co-workers, teachers, aggressors, and victims who are all inextricably linked to one another and will all eventually, 10 years later, have to live with what they've done or suffered through. That was a lot. But I know a lot of people really like this book. I know a lot of people also really like the creator. Cannot read today. The creator, Inio Asano. Which let me see what else they have created. They've created Goodnight Pun Pun, Solanin, What a Wonderful World, which I think I pitched once a long time ago here on the show. But they typically do like good graphic novels and stuff like that. So good stuff. Great artwork, I remember too. So interesting stuff. Pitch number 1, Spice and Wolf. Pitch number 2, Superman Rebirth. Pitch number 3, Nijigahara Holograph.
I gotta go with our buddy Superman, because I've been thinking we've covered 5 different Marvel things on the show already this year, and we haven't touched DC.
There you go. Good stuff. I'm always up for some classic Superman, some good old superhero antics.
Yeah, it's his turn. And I don't think I've ever directly encountered anything where him and Lois are married.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Good stuff. Well, yeah, that is what
Excited
we
for
will
a story
do.
that promises a lot of Lois.
Indeed. That is what we will do for this next week. However, we also want to announce what we are going to be doing for our end of the month kind of special. We normally have a TV show or a comic or a something that we cover once a month at the end of every month, something that has multiple seasons or stuff like that that we can watch over a longer period of time. However, Mr. Robot was amazing. We just got done covering that one.
Yeah.
But we had that was an intense drama. We had also kind of come off of some other intense dramas, so we were like, you know what? Let's take like a month off. Let's just do something fun. So Melissa, you suggested the idea of what if we do a sitcom exchange. We have mentioned this on the show that I grew up not having watched The Simpsons. Instead, my show was Seinfeld. But you grew up watching The Simpsons and never really watched Seinfeld. So
not much of it, no.
Yeah, so what if we picked 3 episodes from each show and exchanged them? So I picked 3 Seinfeld ones and you picked 3 Simpsons. I watched the Simpsons ones, you watched the Seinfeld ones, and at the end of the month we come back and talk about them all. That's what we're gonna do. Do you have your stuff ready to go, or do you want me to let you know what mine are first?
I have the episode titles. I'll need to look up the episode numbers.
Okay. That's fine. We can announce them right now unless you want to look those up while I mention what mine are. But I also have the episode numbers written down here for mine.
Cool. You can go ahead and start, and then I'm gonna look these up on my phone.
Okay. Well, the first episode of Seinfeld that I want Melissa to watch here is The Chinese Restaurant. This is season 2, episode 11. And this is the one that they mentioned in Mr. Robot when we first meet Leon. And he's like, man, it's a show about nothing. Can you believe there's a whole episode where they are waiting for their reservation at a restaurant and they don't even get to eat? So that is the first one, The Chinese Restaurant, season 2, episode 11. That is a classic. The next one is called The Contest. This is season 4, episode 10. Yeah, this is a really funny one. Jerry and Elaine and Kramer and George kind of have a contest to see who can last the longest without masturbating. And it's really funny because they don't ever actually say the word masturbating. They kind of skirt around it and stuff like that. But it's also a classic one with just a good old time sense of humor of just like what happens when friends have to like not masturbate and then they end up seeing all of these like overtly sexual situations and things. It's kind of ridiculous. And then the last one, number 3, the one I want you to watch, is called The Rye. R-Y-E.
Like the bread?
Yes. The Rye bread. The Rye. This is season 7, episode 11, and this is also another classic one. I think one of their best ones. This one really exemplifies just kind of the ridiculousness that can go on in this show. Like you have the Chinese restaurant, which is kind of mundane. they're not doing anything spectacular, but the situation is ridiculous in the sense of just like how mundane it is, right? Whereas this one is them like going full Ocean's 11, like trying to make something happen, and they just completely, they're just idiots. And it's great.
Good.
That is my 3. Chinese Restaurant, The Contest, and The Rye.
Okay. I have a passing familiarity with Seinfeld. There's a lot of legendary episodes and moments that I've heard about, but I've not seen any of these. So I'm excited. Okay. And your 3 episodes of The Simpsons that I have picked are season 4, episode 12, Marge versus the Monorail.
Hey.
This, it's difficult to say, but this may top a lot of people's lists for the best episodes of The Simpsons.
Okay. Good stuff.
There's a monorail. There's a kind of a salesman character that comes to town, like in The Music Man, and they do a whole musical number like in The Music Man, and he just tries to sell Springfield on, you guys should build a monorail.
Okay.
And then season 7, episode 4, Bart sells his soul.
Bart sells. Okay.
He sells it to Milhouse, and then this is if you've ever seen the joke where he sells his soul for Pogs. He's like, remember Alf? He's back in Pog form.
Okay.
This was an episode I remembered from when I was a kid, and I went back and watched it recently, and it's outstanding. I think it's a really good emotional episode, and it's got a really funny B plot that I remembered, but I forgot it was attached to this episode. Nice. So there's a lot packed in here. It's pretty solid. And then the 3rd episode is season 8, episode 9. This is El Viaje de Nuestro Homer, or The Mysterious Voyage of Homer.
Can you say that once more? El Viaje? What the?
It's the title was originally given in Spanish, but I'll tell you that when you look it up on Disney Plus, they just give you the English translation, okay. The Mysterious Voyage of Homer. This is an episode where Homer eats a pepper so hot that he hallucinates, and then the hallucination sends him on a spirit journey.
Okay.
So we have Marge versus the Monorail, Bart sells his soul, and The Mysterious Voyage of Homer.
Good.
So I think we've got a good variety of comedy and emotional plot lines, and I think we're going to get to see hopefully a lot of the side characters in the city.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. That's one of the things with these long-running shows, that they have so many characters and so many like I mean, even within the Seinfeld stuff, like you don't get to see Noman in the ones that I sent you. There's no Noman.
Beans.
Yeah, there are some great ones with him there though, or like I don't have one with George working for the Yankees and him doing all the stupid stuff and getting his boss hooked on calzones, or how he figures out how to like take a nap with no one noticing and stuff like that. Like there's so many aspects of these shows that I'm sure we won't get to see the entirety of, but I think these will be some good ones.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, and we're going to be recording this the last Sunday of the month, so 3 weeks from now.
There you go. Yeah. August 30th, to be exact, is when we are recording it, and that should be out to the public September 2nd. Cool. Just a reminder, next week, Superman Rebirth Deluxe Edition Book 1, which collects Superman 1 through 13, and Superman Rebirth One Shot. This is available on Comixology Unlimited, and also collects Superman Rebirth Volumes 1 and 2, basically. So, there you go. Yeah. I think that is about it. That wraps us up. So, Melissa, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT.
And you can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to stay up to date with our show, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. Go like, share, subscribe, sell your soul, tell a friend, tell a foe, Willem the foe. Yeah, go do all of that stuff. I think we're still sitting at 82 subscribers on YouTube. So go help us spread the word. Go subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe. Get your parents to subscribe.
Parents love us.
Maybe. But yeah, so help us spread the word. You guys know the deal. That wraps us up. This has been episode 118 of the Whatnauts Review Show. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out our podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments down below if you have read an Agatha Christie novel, and if so, which one? What one would you recommend? Let's get some good mystery book recommendations down in the comments. That being said, in the meantime, go subscribe to our channel, which is right up here in this corner. Go hit that button. That would help us out a ton. And go watch one of our other videos, which is right down here in that corner. We got plenty of podcasts for you to check out. Might not even be the review show. Might be something like the Captain's Log. Who knows? But until then, we will see you guys next time. Bye.